Rome 1960. The Olympic gold medal hangs heavy around Cassius Clay's neck as he steps off the plane in Louisville, Kentucky. The metal is still warm from the Italian sun, still gleaming with promise. He's 18 years old, the light heavyweight champion of the world, and he cannot stop smiling. The crowd at the airport erupts. Flashbulbs explode like fireworks. Reporters shout his name. This is his moment. This is supposed to be his moment. But what happens over the next 48 hours will shatter that smile forever. And what he does with that medal, that beautiful golden symbol of everything he's sacrificed, will break your heart into pieces you didn't know existed. The young champion clutches his medal as he walks through the Louisville airport. He hasn't taken it off since they placed it around his neck on that podium in Rome. Not on the plane, not in the bathroom, not while he slept. His mother, Odessa, walks beside him, tears streaming down her face. His father, Cassius Sr., stands tall, chest puffed out, waving to the crowd. They're proud. God, they're so proud. "My boy," Odessa keeps whispering. "My baby boy." The local news cameras are rolling. The mayor is there, extending his hand. White politicians who have never spoken to the Clay family are suddenly best friends. They want photos. They want to be seen with the golden boy. Cassius, young, naive, hopeful, thinks this means something. He thinks winning for America has changed something fundamental. He thinks the gold medal is a key that will unlock doors that have been slammed in his face his entire life. He has no idea how wrong he is. That first night, Cassius can't sleep. He lies in his childhood bedroom, the medal on his nightstand catching moonlight. He keeps reaching over to touch it to make sure it's real. In Rome, they treated him like royalty. Italian fans mobbed him in the streets, asking for autographs, wanting to touch his hand. Russian athletes embraced him. Europeans celebrated him. He ate in the finest restaurants. He stayed in beautiful hotels. For the first time in his life, Cassius Clay tasted what it felt like to be seen as simply human, simply excellent, without the qualifier of his skin color. He falls asleep dreaming of tomorrow. He wants to show his medal to everyone. He wants to walk down 4th Street wearing it. He wants to go to Shively's, the diner downtown, and order the biggest hamburger they have. He wants to sit at the counter, not in the back, and watch people's faces when they see Olympic gold hanging from his neck. Surely that medal means something now. Surely. The next afternoon, Cassius Clay walks into downtown Louisville with his medal displayed prominently on his chest. He's wearing his Olympic team jacket, red, white, and blue, and he's with his friend, Ronnie King, who keeps telling him to be careful. "Cash, maybe we should just go to the West End," Ronnie says quietly. "You know how folks are downtown." But Cassius shakes his head. "I'm an Olympic champion, Ronnie. I won for America. I won for them." He taps the medal. "This changes things." They walk into a small diner on 4th Street. The smell of frying bacon and fresh coffee fills the air. A few customers sit at the counter, all white. They turn and stare as the two young black men enter. The bell above the door seems to ring louder than it should. Time slows. Cassius approaches the counter, smiling his brilliant smile, the one that charmed all of Rome, the one that made Soviet boxers laugh and Italian grandmothers pinch his cheeks. "Good afternoon, ma'am," he says to the waitress, his voice full of genuine warmth. "Could I get a hamburger and a Coke, please?" The waitress, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes and lips pressed into a thin line, doesn't look at him. She doesn't acknowledge the medal. She doesn't acknowledge his Olympic jacket. She simply says, in a voice devoid of emotion, "We don't serve your kind here." The diner goes silent. Every fork stops moving. Every conversation dies. Cassius stands there, frozen, his hand still resting on the counter. The smile hasn't left his face yet. His brain hasn't processed what just happened. The words are still traveling from his ears to his heart, and when they arrive, they will detonate. "Ma'am," he says, and his voice cracks just slightly, "I'm Cassius Clay. I just won the Olympic gold medal, for America, for our country." He holds up the medal, the light catching it, making it shine like a small sun in that dim diner. The waitress finally looks at him. She looks at the medal. She looks at his Olympic jacket. She looks at his hopeful, boyish face. And then she says, with a coldness that will echo in his nightmares for decades, I don't care if you won 100 gold medals. We don't serve N here. Now get out before I call the police. The word hangs in the air like poison gas. Ronnie grabs Cassius's arm. Let's go, Cash, let's just go. But Cassius doesn't move. He can't move. He's staring at the medal in his hand, and something is happening inside him. Something is breaking, or maybe something is being born. The other customers are watching, some with smirks, others looking away in embarrassment. But nobody speaks up. Nobody defends him. Nobody says, wait, that's not right. He's an Olympic champion. Not one person. They leave. Cassius walks out of that diner into the bright Kentucky sunshine, and Ronnie will later say that something had changed in his friend's face. The light had gone out. The smile was gone. He kept touching the medal, but now it was different. Now he was touching it like it was a lie, like it had betrayed him. They walk for blocks in silence. They pass other stores, other restaurants. Cassius sees the signs, some explicit, some just understood. No colored, whites only. Signs that didn't exist in Rome, signs that don't care about Olympic gold, signs that remind him that here, in his hometown, in the country he represented, he is still less than. They reach another restaurant, this one on the outskirts of downtown. Cassius walks in, still wearing his medal, still wearing his Olympic jacket. He wants to try again. He needs to try again, because if the medal doesn't work here, then where does it work? If it doesn't work now, then when? The owner, a large man with a red face and sweat stains under his arms, approaches them before they even reach the counter. You boys lost, he asks, but it's not really a question. Sir, Cassius says, and his voice is different now, harder but also desperate. I'm an Olympic champion. I just won gold for America. I just want to buy a hamburger. The owner looks at the medal. He actually reaches out and touches it, feeling the weight of it. For a moment, just a moment, Cassius thinks maybe this will be different. Maybe this man will see the gold and see the humanity behind it. Instead, the man smiles, not a kind smile, a cruel smile. Boy, he says, I don't give a damn about your medal. You could have 100 of them. This is a white establishment. You want food? There's a colored place down on 9th Street. Now get out of my restaurant before things get ugly. What Cassius Clay does next will stay with Ronnie King for the rest of his life. He doesn't argue, he doesn't shout, he doesn't fight. He simply walks out of the restaurant, crosses the street, and heads toward the 2nd Street Bridge. Ronnie follows, calling his name, asking where he's going, but Cassius doesn't answer. His jaw is clenched. Tears are streaming down his face, silent, furious tears that he doesn't bother to wipe away. They reach the middle of the bridge. The Ohio River flows below, dark and deep and endless. Cars pass by, people walk past, glancing at the two young black men, one of them openly weeping, both of them standing at the railing as if making some kind of decision. Cassius takes the medal off his neck. Cash, what are you doing? Ronnie asks, panic rising in his voice. Don't do something stupid, man. That's yours. You earned that. Cassius holds the medal in his palm. The gold catches the sunlight one last time. He stares at it, this thing he sacrificed for, trained for, bled for, this thing that was supposed to change everything, this thing that was supposed to make him equal, this thing that was supposed to make him human in the eyes of his own country. I won this for them, Cassius whispers. I fought for them, I wore their flag, I sang their anthem, and they won't even let me buy a hamburger. He looks at Ronnie, and the pain in his eyes is unbearable. What's it worth, Ronnie? What's it worth if it don't mean nothing here? What's it worth if I'm still just a N to them? And then Cassius Clay, the Olympic champion, the pride of Louisville, the boy who charmed Rome, throws his gold medal into the Ohio River. The medal turns over twice in the air, glinting gold, then copper, then gold again. It hits the water with a small splash, too small for something so valuable, too quiet for something that cost so much. The ripples spread out in perfect circles, and then the medal is gone, swallowed by the dark water, sinking down into the mud and the current and the forgetting. Ronnie gasps, Cash, no. But Cassius just stands there, staring at the water where the medal disappeared. His hands are empty now, his neck is bare, the weight is gone, but somehow he feels heavier than before. They can keep their medal, he says quietly. They can keep their anthem. They can keep their flag. I won't wear their gold while they treat me like dirt. The two friends stand on that bridge for over an hour. Neither speaks. The sun begins to set, painting the Ohio River in shades of orange and red. Somewhere downstream, buried in the silt, the gold medal settles into its final resting place, a treasure that will never be found, a symbol that was rejected not by the man who earned it, but by the country that promised it would mean something. When they finally leave the bridge, Cassius Clay is different. The boy who stepped off that plane from Rome is gone. Something harder has taken his place, something angry, something awakened. Years later, after he becomes Muhammad Ali, after he refuses to fight in Vietnam, after he sacrifices his title and his freedom for his principles, reporters will ask him about the medal. They'll ask if he regrets throwing it away. They'll say it was worth thousands, maybe millions. They'll say it was a piece of history. And Ali will look at them with those eyes that have seen too much, understood too much, and he'll say, I didn't throw away the medal. America did. They threw it away when they wouldn't let me sit at their counter. They threw it away when they called me that word. They threw it away when they showed me that gold only shines if the man wearing it is white. But that's not the end of the story. Because in 1996, 36 years after that medal disappeared into the Ohio River, Muhammad Ali stands in Atlanta at the Summer Olympics. He's 54 years old now, his body ravaged by Parkinson's, his hands shaking uncontrollably. The entire world watches as he's handed the Olympic torch. His hands tremble as he holds it. The flame wavers. The crowd holds its breath. This is the man who threw away his gold medal in disgust. This is the man who refused to be defined by America's version of patriotism. This is the man who lost everything, his title, his prime years, his health, because he wouldn't compromise his principles. And when they light the Olympic cauldron, when the flame rises into the Atlanta sky, when billions of people around the world watch this broken, beautiful man represent the Olympic ideal, they present him with something else. A replacement gold medal. The International Olympic Committee gives him another medal from the 1960 Olympics. They place it around his neck, and the crowd erupts. People are weeping. Athletes from every nation stand and applaud. And Muhammad Ali, the man who once threw away America's gold in the Ohio River, accepts this new medal with shaking hands and tears in his eyes. But it's not the same medal. It can't be. The original medal, the one he earned as an innocent 18-year-old boy, lies at the bottom of a river, a memorial to broken promises and shattered dreams. That medal was thrown away by hate, by racism, by a country that asked him to represent it but wouldn't let him eat at its restaurants. This new medal is different. This medal is given to a man, not a boy. This medal is placed on someone who has already won far more important battles. This medal is an apology that came too late to heal the wound, but early enough to acknowledge it existed. The truth is, Cassius Clay lost more than a medal in that Ohio River on that summer day in 1960. He lost his innocence. He lost his trust. He lost his belief that excellence could overcome prejudice, that achievement could erase hate, that gold could shine bright enough to blind racism. But in losing those things, he found something else. He found his voice. He found his purpose. He found the courage to become Muhammad Ali, a man who would rather lose everything than pretend that medal meant anything in a country where he couldn't sit at a lunch counter. The boy who threw away Olympic gold became the man who showed the world what true gold looks like, not the kind you wear around your neck, not the kind they give you on a podium, but the kind that lives in your spine when you refuse to bow, the kind that burns in your chest when you choose principle over comfort, the kind that shines in your eyes when you'd rather lose their approval than your self-respect. That medal at the bottom of the Ohio River is still there, covered in decades of silt, forgotten by everyone except those who understand what it represents. It represents the price of dignity. It represents the moment when a young black man learned that his country's love was conditional. It represents the death of one dream and the birth of another. And somewhere in that dark river, it still shines, not with the light of victory, but with the far brighter light of truth.